Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Gauransh Bhardwaj and today we are going to discuss the first one day international between India and West Indies played at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Now, before I move on to my content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this YouTube channel. Now, moving forward, there is quite a lot of significance attached to this one day international because it was a milestone moment for Indian cricket and for BCCI as they were hosting their 1000 ODI, they were playing their 1000 ODI, and what a way to finish the game! What a win it was! It was just like they won so convincingly with 22 overs to spare, chasing down a meager total. Now let's begin from the start. The toss was won by India captain Rohit Sharma, who was playing very first uh, in his very first one day international as a full time captain of India. So there was many significant things related to this one day international. It was important for India because it was a part of ICC World Cup Super League. 10 points were up for grab. Second, it was Rohit Sharma's first one day international as a full-time white ball captain of India, and third it was India's 1000 one day international, so a first country to play that many one day internationals. So plenty of milestones galore for this one day international. Now moving on, India winning the toss, fielding a slightly inexperienced side because of the reasons that I told in the previous video, because of COVID, because of some players unavailable. They were going with Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan as openers, uh, as confirmed by Rohit in his press conference. And then there was a middle order that consists of Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, then Rishabh Pant, Deepak Huda. Deepak Huda was making his one-day international debut. In the bowling lineup, it was Washington Sundar who partnered Yuzvendra Chahal in the spin department, and in the pace department, it was Mohammad Siraj along with Prasidh Krishna. So this was plenty of the playing 11 that India were fielding. For West Indies, there were changes also. Kemar Roach was making comeback in the one day international setup after a very long time. There was Brendan King, who was also making his comeback in the one day international. Darren Bravo, who hasn't played the one day international for quite some time, was also making a comeback. So there was plenty much of difference in both the teams from the last ODI when they played. Now moving on, as I said, everything went right for India starting from the toss. They won the toss, they opted to bowl first. The pitch was a very sporting one, helping both the seamers and spinners for India. Especially spin was it was turning quite a lot for a finger spinner of the capability of Washington Sundar, and the spin duo of Washington Sundar and Yuzi Chahal made a D-day for West Indies. They broke the top and middle order for the West Indies, and soon they were found in a disarray, the West Indians, at 79 for 6. Washington Sundar getting the wicket of top order batsmen like for instance, Darren Bravo, LPW on review. Then there was the wicket of Brendan King, a very soft dismissals. It was a lack of application, lack of I should say, lack of game plan, lack of game awareness that was showcased by the Caribbean, by the boys from Caribbean. And in the power play, the chief destroyer was Washington Sundar, and after the power play, in the middle overs from the 19th over came Yuzvendra Chahal, and in the middle overs he stifled the innings, and soon in the 23rd over, because of their spin wizardry, the West Indies were reduced to 79 for 6 in a complete disarray, and were not in the game. And had it not been for the partnership between Holder and Allen for the 7th wicket, they wouldn't have reached 150. They Holder and Allen took some responsibility. First maneuvered the bowlers, milked them, and then when Holder he's a proper all-rounder. He can bat anywhere in the middle order. He should bat up the order, and that was also the question that was raised when we saw his batting credentials in this one-day international. As we all know, that Fabian Allen is also a capable bat along with Jason Holder, so they maneuvered the bowlers, and Jason Holder took on one of the experienced spinster in the form of Yuzvendra Chahal, who was previously stifling the bowler. He took on with his long reach. He is 6'8", so he can reach for the ball. His reach for the ball is very long, and made the full balls into full tosses and deposited it into the grandstands. So it was a wonderful partnership, 78 run partnership between these two. If you take that 78 run partnership, it was out. It was a no contest between the two sides. The West Indies were looking a little bit fatigued in their bowling also. A target of 176. And when they needed to take early wickets, and when Rohit Sharma was in that form, Rohit Sharma was not playing from November. He was not playing from the New Zealand T20 International. He was not playing from 2 months, and there he comes. He doesn't look out of touch. He doesn't look any he was in touch right from the very beginning. It was something of the weakness for West Indies bowler, particularly in Roach, giving him width, and he was just pouncing on those deliveries. He was pulling the short ball mercilessly, as we all know. He was looking like a vintage Rohit. That straight drive that he flicked of Jason Holder in the 5th or 6th over, the bat just slanted in his hands, but his timing was just effortless, and he hit some of very exquisite boundaries. And from 83 run opening partnership in a chase of 176 effectively kills the chase. But there was some good bowling from Alzari Joseph in the middle overs from 11 to 30, from 11 to 20 in that 7 overs spell. He was bowling some inspired spells. He is remember, he is also one of the fastest bowlers in the West Indies lineup. He can clock 140 regularly. He was also playing the Bangladesh Premier League recently, so he has had some game time in the subcontinent. And first time Rohit looked that he hasn't had that much of time while he was hitting, was when he got a little bit late in playing his shot against Alzari Joseph. That the ball that just seamed in and hit him on the pads, and there was LPW shout, and it was given. From there on, West Indies sniffed a couple of breakthroughs. It was a completely uncharacteristic innings from Virat Kohli. He was going after the bowling, and in doing so, he was not giving him time in the middle. He was backing his shots, and in that manner, he was out for 8. And couple of wickets in clusters. From 83 for 1, India slid down to 116 for 4, and from there on, it was a partnership of Surya Kumar Yadav and Deepak Hooda that steered them to victory. One victory with 22 overs to spare. It was very convincing, but it was not a near perfect. It was near perfect game for Team India. It was not as perfect. Surya Kumar Yadav really impressed with his batting skills. He played his all cheeky shots, little dabs here and there. That unusual batting shots that he plays. When one of the shots that I remember is when Akil Hussain spin the ball on, it was coming in, and then he gave himself just a little bit of room and played it from the off stump, wide of the slip, and for 4 behind the keepers, behind the square. So he was really impressive, and Deepak Hooda also looked matured in his very first one day international. So a near perfect game for India, and West Indies looked nothing short of, as I would say, there was no competition from the West Indies. That's all from here. If you like it, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy.